gonna be the best time of the year. Got my hands in the sky, cause I know that I'm living my best life when you're near. This Christmas, toast to the memories through the years. I know I got better days ahead, but I'm loving this moment right here. This Christmas, this day right here. Right here, yeah, yeah. This moment here. Right here, yeah, yeah. This Christmas, right here. All I want for Christmas is a little snow. You beside the fire with some mistletoe. Grandma screaming, grab your jacket, boy, you know it's cold. Give me that sweet potato pie with all the dinner rolls. Yeah, go turn up the music, this your favorite song. Don't grab all your cousins, we gon' sing along. Cause we're so glad you're home. It's been way too long since I told you I loved you, since I looked you in the eyes and I hugged you, since I told you that you special to me. Because sometimes the people on your family tree is the best gift that you ever received. And that's gonna be the best time of the year. Got my hands in the sky, cause I know that I'm living my best life when you're near. This Christmas, toast to the memories through the years. I know I got better days ahead, but I'm loving this moment right here. This Christmas, this day right here. Right here, yeah, yeah. This moment here. Right here, yeah, yeah.
Merry Christmas, Jesus. I'm so glad it's Christmas, TC. It is officially Christmas, and I want to be one of the first to say Merry Christmas all the way from Europe. And as the year comes to a close, I wanted to fill you guys in just a little bit more of what we have been doing at TC Europe. So in Vienna and in Budapest this past month in December, we were able to do Litz events, hand out clothing, food, and other items to those on the street. And not only that, but in Vienna and Budapest, we're having weekly connect groups, our monthly hangouts, and I'm so excited for 2022 because that is hopefully when we are going to get our space in Budapest. So more news on that coming soon. But really, there's just so many exciting things happening, not only at TC, but in each of your lives in this upcoming year. Now, if you are new, don't forget to scan the QR code, which will lead you to a form, which is just a way that we can get to know you a little bit more here at TC. And for the rest of you who just want to know more about The Collective, head over to our website, thecollective.global, which will give you all the information you've ever wanted about connect groups and everything happening at TC. Again, we love you guys so much no matter where you are in the world, from Indonesia to Europe to all around. We just hope that you feel extra loved this Christmas. We love you.
Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the angels sing,
Merry Christmas, TC family. Hey, it's Pastor Jordan here, and we're about to continue into our Christmas service in just a little bit. But as we close the chapter of 2021, through all the ups and downs that we've been through, I want to challenge us with this thought of gratitude. What's something that you could be grateful for this year? Whether it's surviving, whether it's coming out on top, or finishing through the year enough in your business, your finances, in your family, with your friends, your goals. What is something that you could be grateful for in this year as we finish this year strong together? You know, when I remember the things that God has been doing, or when I can have moments of gratitude towards God as He's continued to provide for me or care for me or show me ways that He has just been there for me, you know, with that thought, it recreates a new sense of generosity in my life. That from that sense of gratitude, I'm renewed in what God can do in my life and what God can do through my life. And so with that sense of gratefulness springs up generosity. And so look, if you're here and you're inspired to give today, you can do so by heading to this link below. If you're someone that calls TC home and you feel like you believe in what God's doing here, you can give through this link below and it has all the information that you need. So look, we love you guys, and let's head over into the service.
Hey TC family, Merry Christmas. My name is Alex Evans and I'm the lead pastor at the Collective Church, in case you don't know me. And it's my honor to be able to spend Christmas with you. If you are not a part of the TC family and you are just joining with us today, I want to encourage you one thing. Don't allow what you're watching right now to be your only experience with Jesus's church. I know that a lot of us actually only attend church or participate in church on holidays like Christmas and Easter, but God's plan for your life is so much bigger than 2 days a year. His faithfulness and His heart for you is so much bigger than whatever we choose to settle for as humans. And by you participating today, I hope that you get a taste, just a small glimpse into the reality of the kingdom of heaven and the incredible plan that He has for your life. You know, in this faith journey, or in this journey as humanity on earth, there's going to be so many ups and downs. And I don't need to say that twice, because I know that most of us have experienced that in the last year, year and a half, or 2 years. And now we're getting into the holidays. It is Christmas Day. Woo, it's so fun. And we have New Year's coming up and we're getting ready for these fresh beginnings. But the fact of the matter is that we can have tons of Christmas fun and gifts and celebrations and all these things. But if you really don't understand what your life is about or what God has for you, you will absolutely miss out on the fullness that you were created for. And just like Christmas comes and goes, so will your satisfaction, and so will your peace. You know, it's funny because I love Christmas. I love Christmas music. I love Christmas trees. I love Christmas decorations. I love everything. If I had Christmas sweaters, I would wear them all the time. I don't think my wife wants me to wear Christmas sweaters, but I love them. I start playing Christmas music like November 1st, which is a little bit intense, but I just love it. And I get so sad when it comes. I get really disappointed, but not too disappointed, because I know that Christmas is something special for a one-time thing. But I'm going to look into your eyes as God's son and daughter and help you understand something. Although we have different things like Christmas or other celebratory things in our life that make us feel happy or fulfilled for a moment, God has something for us that lasts so much longer than a moment. God has something bigger and greater for us that penetrates the deepest part of who we are, that goes to the deepest part of our heart and gives us the greatest satisfaction and a greater peace that surpasses all understanding and that is never ending. In fact, this morning, I want to talk to you about the peace of God. You know, when Jesus came, when He was born on earth, it was prophesied in the book of Isaiah that He was going to be the Prince of Peace. And with the recognition that He would usher in peace, people didn't really understand how He would do that. They had an image of what kind of coming king Jesus would be and how He would usher in peace, but they really didn't get it right. They really never saw it coming in the way that it was actually coming, as far as His ability to bring peace to His people. You know, in this prophetic utterance from Isaiah, he shares the details of the context of God's people at that time and the need for peace. See, Israel was stricken by war for generations upon generations. I mean, look at the world news today in the Middle East. It's still happening. Not just in Israel, but you look at the worldwide of how war and battle and violence has torn family members apart, cities apart, people groups apart, the damage that it's done. And the idea of peace oftentimes is that the more we fight and the more we push and the more we sacrifice, finally there'll be the peace that we're looking for. That's a very human response. That's what we see. That's what Israel saw in the time of this prophecy when Isaiah spoke to them. But Jesus came to usher in a different kind of peace, peace in a different way. I just want to read to you about the current circumstances of the people of Israel in this promise of a king who would bring peace. It says in Isaiah 9, verse 2 and 3, "The people who walk in darkness will see a great light. For those who live in the land of deep darkness, a light will shine. You will enlarge the nation of Israel, and its people will rejoice. They will rejoice before you as a people rejoice at the harvest, and like warriors dividing the plunder." Do you see this poetic picture that they're talking about from going from darkness, where they don't see, they don't understand, they're in need of light and understanding, and how God is bringing them from a place of darkness to a place of celebration? Go ahead, verse 4. "For you will break the yoke of slavery and lift the heavy burden from their shoulders. You will break the oppressor's rod, just as you did when you destroyed the armies of Midian. The boots of the warrior and the uniforms, blood-stained by war, will be burned. They will become fuel for the fire." And then in verse 6 and 7, it says, "For a child is born to us, a son is given to us. The government will rest on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace." His government and its peace will never end. He will rule with fairness and justice from the throne of his ancestor David for all eternity. The passionate commitment of the Lord of heaven of armies will make this happen. And I love how it finishes that. The passionate commitment of the Lord of heaven's armies will make this happen. See, one thing you need to understand about this life of faith, that these beautiful things don't occur because of our personal discipline, our faithfulness, our personal righteousness, but they occur because of the power and the righteousness and the grace of God working in your life. See, that's what separates following Jesus from religion. Religion is all about what we can do, which really has led us nowhere for the last thousands of years. But following Jesus is all about trusting in what he can do in your life. So he speaks to these people, Israel, who are war-stricken, thirsty and hungry for peace in every moment, believing that they could accomplish peace through battle and through violence, but continuing on a perpetual cycle, never finding the peace that they were looking for. You know, the fact of the matter is today I'm not so much talking about physical battle or warfare and how that is in need of God's peace, but I'm talking about a different kind of battle. See, this is what I know through my engagement with people close to me, people in our city, people in our community, is that the war that's happening isn't a war fought on a battlefield in seasons like this, but it's a war fighting on our hearts and our mind. Most of us feel split oftentimes. We feel like we don't see clearly. We feel like we are being torn apart from the inside. You know, that's really what the prophet Isaiah is talking about in the beginning in verse 2 in chapter 9. Look at what it says. It said, the people walk in darkness will see a great light. For those who live in the land of deep darkness, a light will shine. The fact of the matter is Jesus wants to illuminate your lack of understanding, your lack of clarity, the darkness that invades your mind and your heart where you just are not sure what to hope in or how to move forward. You wake up every day and you feel so uncertain because of your circumstances and your current reality. Jesus is coming to pull you from the darkness and bring you into his light. And that is the fruit of having his peace. You could almost say that the prophet Isaiah is describing to you what it really feels like to embrace the God of peace, the Prince of Peace, Jesus. It's like stepping into a place where there's darkness, little visibility, no clarity or certainty, and step into light. See, that's God's heart. Oftentimes when you don't have peace, it feels like you're oppressed. It feels like you're not free. It feels like you're not free to move forward, to make decisions, because you feel so heavy and weighed down by this internal struggle that we all go towards in this life, this battle within. Go back to Isaiah 9. I want to unpack some of these scriptures for you in verse 2 through 4, because I think it gives a great picture to us as God's people, really what it looks like to be struggling with that battle within. In 2, it talks about the darkness that we experience when we don't have clear eyesight. Have you ever felt like everything in front of you was fuzzy and dark and you didn't know how to move forward? It also says in verse 3, you will enlarge the nation of Israel and its people. They will rejoice. They will rejoice before you as a people rejoice at harvest like warriors dividing a plunder. So what is this a reference to? It said for the people rejoice at harvest. For this ancient culture, harvest meant financial security. It meant that they would have enough to resource their family. It means that they didn't go on wanting, but they felt satisfied. See, some of us, we don't have peace. We feel like there's an internal war being waged inside of us because of financial hardship. And we believe that that financial hardship will end if we had more money. It says that you will feel like someone who is financially secure. You will feel like someone right before the harvest. In verse 2, it says, it'll be like going from darkness to light. See, the prophet Isaiah is showing us what God's peace feels like darkness to light, like going from scarcity to abundance, insecurity to security. Then it says in verse 4, for you will break the yoke of slavery and lift the heavy burden from the shoulders. You will break the oppressor's rod. And I love this part because for any Israelite, their only reference point of slavery, or I should say their greatest reference point for slavery, is when they were enslaved for generations, for over 400 years. So immediately when the prophet Isaiah uses the reference of slavery, they know what it feels like: a people without identity, a people without confidence, a people without stature, a people without governance. See, when you have God's peace, it's like being freed from slavery. It's like where before you were frozen, you were stuck, you were burdened and oppressed. And now all of a sudden, you feel free. See, it's hard for us to understand God's peace, so the prophet Isaiah is trying to help us understand this is what God's peace is like. And the antithesis of God's peace is this is what it feels like when there's war raging inside of you. It feels dark and unclear. It feels like you're in scarcity, maybe financially, maybe with time or other resources, instead of security. It feels like you're enslaved, like you're in bondage, like you're under pressure without freedom. See, I don't think I need to tell you what internal war feels like. When you feel like your heart is torn, your mind is torn, and you don't know how to move forward. I think most of us in this last season have learned very clearly what it feels like to lack peace. And sadly, kind of like what Isaiah is talking about, we think that when we get those things, that those things will bring peace. We think when we come out of darkness and finally see the light, And the light can be clarity, reason, something that makes sense to us, something that explains why certain things happen in our life. We feel like that clarity, that light, is the thing that will bring peace. Or like in verse 4, the time of the harvest, financial security or security through resource. We think that that will bring the peace. If I could close this deal, if I had more time, if this changed, if this person paid me back, if this happened, I could just have this peace. Or lastly, if I could finally break out of this position where I don't feel free. It's sad. Do you know how many marriages I talk to where people just feel like they're trapped relationally? In jobs where people feel like they're trapped, in families where people feel like they're trapped. People do not feel free. They don't feel like they have identity. They don't feel like they have confidence in their circumstances or proper governance or how they should function. They don't feel like that. They feel trapped. And we believe that if they could get out of the relationship, if the family member changed, if the situation or circumstances changed, they could finally feel peace. But Isaiah isn't saying that these three things are going to give you peace: the clarity, understanding, the financial or resource security, the freedom from certain elements in your life. Those things aren't going to bring you peace. It's peace that will bring you those things. Do you hear me? It's peace in Jesus that will bring you clarity. It's peace in Jesus that will bring you security. And it's peace in Jesus that will bring you identity. See, this is what people had never understood, and in my opinion, we still struggle with. We don't chase peace through things. We embrace God's peace and then see Him work and move through all things. That is who the Prince of Peace is. You know, I think all the time, like, why is this so hard for us to understand as people? Why do we repeat the same cycles over and over again? How long have we been fighting with each other? How long have we been strong and assertive and dominant and trying to bully our way to get what we want, trying to take things by force? While only seeing devastation, only seeing broken relationship and pain, only seeing abuse, only seeing offense and wounds that happen over and over again, but never really getting what we believe we need or want. And that's what they thought Jesus was going to come and do. They thought Jesus was going to come as a strong warrior, and He was going to make peace happen by the edge of His sword. They thought He was going to ride in on a wild stallion from heaven, just like a warrior in those days, to take peace and dominate and wipe out any offenders or any enemies of God's people. But I'm going to tell you right now is what they never saw coming, that Jesus didn't come to make peace with violence towards us, but He came to make peace as He absorbed all the violence from us at the cross. That's why His peace is enduring. That's why His peace is forever. And that's why His peace really works. He didn't come like other kings and make peace happen by force. He came as the one true King, and He absorbed our violence. He absorbed our persecution. He absorbed our wrath to create peace for us. And that's why it says in verse 6, for a child is born to us, a son is given to us. The government will rest on His shoulders, and He will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace, and His government and its peace will never end. So how do we access God's peace? Not through the pursuit of financial gain or resource, not through certainty or clarity, not through somehow freeing ourselves from the things on earth that we think are bondage. We are not at war with physical things. How we absorb and we take on and we find God's peace is by trusting in Him as our wonderful counselor, our counselor in every moment, the person that'll lead us, speak to us, and lead us. our mighty God, the one in charge of all things. It said the governance rests on his shoulders. You know what that means, church? It means that we have to eventually get to the point where we have humble enough hearts to trust his way above our way, his governance above our governance. And finally, as we do so, we will see him as the Prince of Peace. We'll find the light, we'll find the security, and we'll find our true identity. No longer feel enslaved under bondage, no longer feeling torn by war internally, but we feel free, empowered, and ready to embrace all that he's given us, ready to embrace his peace. And church, that is my prayer for us in this season, that we would understand that by putting our faith in Jesus in every circumstance, in every decision, and in every moment, we are also opening our hearts to receive his peace. Because the person that you're in the relationship with that you feel like if they changed, then you would have peace, that's never going to happen. The job that isn't going well and then you'll have peace, that's never going to happen. The financial number you're looking for and then you'll have peace, that's never going to happen. I'm not being cynical, I'm being honest because I love you. But when you have the peace of God, your relationships get healthier, your finances will be healthier, your posture, your identity, everything will be in line because you're not chasing after something, but you're living from something and you're living from the peace of God in your life. So I'm so thankful again that I got to celebrate Christmas with you. I'm thankful that we got to hang out, and I hope that your time as a family or with friends and celebrating this, I pray that it's a time where you experience God's peace to the fullness. Let me pray. So Father God, I just thank you so much by absorbing the violence of men at the cross so we would have peace with one another and peace with you. Lord, that the internal battle that some of us are struggling with and going through, Lord, I pray that there would be peace made in our hearts, that we would understand that we don't have to govern everything and control everything, that we don't have to constantly chase or pursue financial gain or resource. We don't have to try to rid ourselves of relationships that we think are pulling us down, but Lord, we find your peace and we navigate from there with greater clarity and greater light. We thank you so much. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. All right, TC family, well, thank you so much for participating and be a part of this Christmas celebration. We will see you next Sunday.
Manger underneath the starry sky, Mother Mary tending to her baby's cry. The ox and lamb, behold their maker king, the one who spoke the world with let there be. Wise men crossing deserts in the night,